Hello, friends. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing tonight? I am really looking forward to this. I need this tonight. So it's good to see you all. Good to see so many folks already here. I have the Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli with some haunted bookshop, as is tradition. And I just let it go out, so I'm going to have to relight. But let's see who we've got assembled so far. I see Tim Fournier is here, and he's informing us that heaven's on fire. So, Tim, I hope you cool off soon there, buddy. Cypress Piper, Pondering with Pepe's Pipe, Big Dave, Jeffrey Feinberg, Patrick Grant. Good to see you guys. XJ90X, how you doing, XJ? Good to see you, buddy. Gary Edminster. Peterson Captain Pete with Captain Kid and Black Coffee. Lots of captains there, Gary. Rich B1, happy music indeed. Good Friday evening to you. John Brett, having some nightcap in his Savinelli. We should start voting for the back of the month since most people don't care who they vote for, just the letter next to any given name. There you go, Tim. Good for you. Lord Hogarth, how you doing, buddy? And Signalman Tony from Rhode Island. Good to see you, Tony. Sounds like you after Thai food. Ghost Cobb, Steve and Glenna. Steve, good to see you there, Steve. Chris Weber, welcome from Iowa, my friend. George Tiedemann, happy Friday to you. And Michael Case, summer's determined to stay around 95 and 90. We had unusually cool weather here today. Not that I'm complaining. I don't think we broke like 75. Flint Hill Briar, good to see you. And I think we're all caught up. Flint Hill's having some Burley Delight in his custom built. Big Dave wants to know when it's going to cool down. Cool down today here. David Bookshop having a Catholic pipe and haunted bookshop. Well, hope the Catholic pipe doesn't exorcise the Ghost in the Haunted. I don't know, David. I felt like I could make a joke there, but halfway through I realized I probably can't. XJ says it's wet in Tasmania. Just rain every day for weeks and strong wind, just in case the rain wasn't enough. Yeah, you gotta get that, huh? Yeah, we actually had very little rain for the past couple weeks, which is kind of surprising. I keep getting these, we're gonna have thunderstorms tomorrow, and they just never precipitate. Sorry. Triple digits for Tim. My goodness. Before the heat index. Wow. That is hot. So I do have a drink this evening, which I'm anxious to get into. Nothing fancy tonight. Back in the high life again. The champagne of beers. Actually still says that. The champagne of beers. Look at that. This is what I grew up on. Was my parents didn't actually have beer around the house. My dad he had one beer a year. And my mom didn't. My mom would drink cocktails, but not beer, and not very much. But my grandparents always had Miller in the fridge. And when I stayed with them, once I reached whatever age, probably 12 or so, I would have a little shot glass of beer with them. Fond memories. I'll top that off a bit. I'm almost out of room, but cheers to y'all. I don't know what it is about Miller. It's got almost a sour aftertaste to it, which I could imagine being unpleasant, but that's what I learned beer tastes like. And because of that, I find it to be quite appealing. Half joke is better than no joke, Michael. Indeed. Glen Hill thinks it does taste a tad bit like champagne. Well, it certainly is bubbly. Phil Rivera, how you doing, buddy? Oh, he gave me a nickname. I don't like that, Phil. It is fine and consistent, Rich. And I would drink more of it if it wasn't for Yingling, which I think is also fine and consistent and about the same price and slightly better tasting. Has a little bit more body to it. But yeah, it's a respectable beer, Miller. I'm quite happy with it. Mushroom leg. Oi, oi to you. And there's Doug Owen. Good evening, Doug. Colt 45 with salt. Really, Tim? I got a funny salt in beer story for you. Maybe I'll tell it. You made me a verb. Thank you, Phil. I feel like I've been promoted now. I got to tell you, so I'll tell you the salt in the beer story because it's hilarious. I think it is. And I got to tell you my beer story from last night because I had an interesting evening last night. Oh, Michael Case, what a wonderful story. Is she? I don't think they have her on the can, at least. I don't know if she's still in the bottles, but I remember that the moon with the girl sitting on it. Patrick's got Natty Daddy beer, doing some cooking. Nice. And Tim's got some I Hate Rodrigo Adele and his Stefano Billiard. Nice. Lana Piper, good to see you, Christian. Good evening to you, sir. That last fishing story you sent me was hilarious, Christian. I don't know how it's spelled either, Flint Hill. And I had a really funny experience at the pipe show. The bartenderess at the pipe show was of Hispanic descent. I don't actually know if she was Mexican or some other, but she spoke Spanish, and she was, I'd say Yingling, and she would say Jungling, and I'd say yeah, sure, and we were happy with that. Uh, and then she stopped me and asked. Actually, I think Greg was with me, and she stopped us and said, "How do you pronounce this? Is it Jungling?" And we said it like 3 or 4 times, and she repeated it, and she still called it Jungling. So no, Phil, I like being a verb. No need to make me an adjective. I certainly don't want to be a consonant. No. Alamo Piper, como está to you? Aren't female bartenders called bartendresses? Mushroom leg? I just always thought that's what they were called. I guess you could say barmaid, but that just sounds too old fashioned. Piper on the porch. Good evening. 7LA673 with some C&D canal boat. Nice. Apparently the fish like it, Christian. The no, Gary, no, it was not. That was not my bartender. Um, but hopefully she soon will be back to that job. Um, Christian sent me this really funny thing where you see this guy all rigged up and trying to fish, and he pans the camera down. He's got like a one of those hat cams or something, and as he pans it down, you see his feet in the water, and this fish has latched onto his big toe and he's just holding on. And it's really kind of funny because he's got all the gear, and the way he catches the fish with his big toe. I don't think barmaid is considered kind anymore. I think bartenders is the right term. At least that's what I call them, and they seem to like it. Yeah, I know, Rich. They're spreading across the country now. Apparently, it's available most places. We should all say bartenders from now on. Yes, we'll make it a thing if it's not. It's better than bar wench, right? I don't think you're allowed to use that term anymore. Oh, beer wench. There you go, Gary. Thank you, Gary. I feel a little less bad about saying that. So let me tell you the salt and beer story. Um, my father-in-law, Ray, who's hanging in there. You know, I talked to him last night for a little bit. He's had his ups and downs, but he's hanging in there, and my wife's still there with him. Uh, and Ian Haywood, hey, Tim, I have to revisit that movie. I haven't seen it in so long. I'm a wench. Oh, I'm a wrench. I don't know, Doug. I don't know. Uh, so anyway, in his younger days, and this is going back probably about 20 years, maybe more than that. It's when I first met Ray. Back right, like either before my wife and I were married. I guess it was before. Ray used to take me to bars. He had a lot of local club type bars that we'd go to, and he'd pick me up and say, "Come on, I got to go do something." And before we ever did something, we'd stop at three, four, five, and yeah, in his prime, Ray could hold some beer, and I had a bit of a reputation for that myself, and we had fun. Uh, so we were in Georgia, if I remember correctly. I was doing my postdoc work in Atlanta at Emory, and he came to visit, and we went and we're looking. Now they don't have these small, sort of neighborhood bars in Atlanta, at least not in the area that I was in. And Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker, how you doing, buddy? You did not say winch. I know, Doug. I know. I put that in. So we wind up in this place that's basically a sports bar, and it's the afternoon, and we go in and we both order a beer, and he's complaining about how much it costs, and it was. I mean, at the time we could probably get a beer in Pittsburgh for like $1.50, and it was like $4 anywhere. So it was a big difference. So, Bill, you'll like my bartender story then, with the holding up of the finger. So anyway, we're at this bar. It's the afternoon. It's empty. They put the two beers in front of us. I don't remember if it was a man or woman tending bar, and the beers are flat. They're very flat. But what are we going to do? So we start drinking, and he's complaining. And he's he was a gruff guy the day I met him. Very very imposing, very big. He's a steel worker, and he's like, this beer's no good. You know what I mean? And but we already bought it, and he says, hand me that pepper. And sitting a little bit further down the bar is a salt and pepper shaker. I think, okay. And so I slide the pepper down to him, and he's shaking the pepper in his beer. And then he takes one of the little stirrer things and stirs it around. I said, what are you doing, Ray? And he says, that's what you do when your beer's flat. Put some fizz back in it. And I said, really? Pepper? And he looks at me, and in all serious, like he's dead serious, he says, and keep in mind, I've met all of his friends. They're all old alcoholic guys, sitting around in these bars and stuff. Not that Ray was in that class, but a lot of his friends were. And he looks me in the eye, and he's dead serious. He says, well, we used to all use salt, but that's not good for you anymore. So we switched to pepper. I hope you get the humor in that. But he is a wonderful guy. It was so nice talking to him last night, and like I said, he's up and down. And why do people that know I'm on the live stream and are actually in the audience send me messages during the live stream? You know who I'm talking to. It was funny. I apologize for even looking, but with all the stuff going on with my father-in-law, my brother, I can't ignore those things when they come in. Tim doesn't care for political incorrectness. Good for you, Tim. I'm not saying that word, Hooker. We get enough strikes against it. The Urban Hermit, how you doing, Everett? Big and burly in the Matches tribute pipe. Very good. Used to salt ham? Wow, that's hardcore salt use there. I don't know why they got mad at me, but they just decided that we were adults only at one point. Got a nasty email about it. But like I said last week, we're basically family friendly. Jeffrey, I've lost touch with Jack. I tried to get in touch with him several times. He apparently moved from the retirement home that he was in, and I cannot track him down. But I will. I really do need to do that. As far as I know, he is still alive. But yeah, I feel bad, but I just have not had the time nor the ability to find him. Patrick says we need to raise a bowl for Piper Stephen Mueller, who recently passed away. Oh my goodness, yes. Well, indeed, we all will remember Stephen. Bill, did I miss the beginning of this story? I don't think so. This looks like an interesting story, though. So I'm there with 4 inches of strings hanging out of my ears and pink silicone in my ears. Started curling the strings of my fingers like a flirting woman. Flicked my head back, flicked strings away like hair. winked, and she lost it and laughed her arse off. Were these earplugs or something, Phil? $75 a tin, Eric. Did you find it on a sale? Wes B28. How you doing, Wes? Late to the video. He's smoking H&H Bold Kentucky in his Peterson Emerald series. First off, Wes, you can't be late. You're just in time. And I've got the Haunted Bookshop in my Matches Memorial Friday Savinelli. That explains the saltiness, Tim. That explains it. Mold for hearing aids. Okay, Phil. Gotcha. Gotcha. Sorry, I missed the first part. I tried to scroll back, but didn't see it. That is hilarious. Well, let me tell you my bartender story from last night because it was kind of interesting. This doesn't have a great punchline or ending or anything. I just was kind of surprised by the interaction. So first off, okay, I'm an old guy. I'm pretty average looking at best. I'm not, you know, nobody's gonna mistake me for who's an old guy that women like? Sean Connery. I know he's dead now, but there was a time when he was, I'm not that kind of guy, and that's fine. Um, but I have this thing that I've had all my life where, and maybe everybody has this because I've never really talked about it. Uh, but I get free beer. I don't know why, but I'd say more than half the time, if I go to a bar, I wind up getting a free beer. Uh, it just happens, and yeah, I don't ask for it. I don't expect it, but it happens a lot. So there's this. It's a restaurant with a tavern attached to it that I like a lot. So we pass it on the way to the chiropractor, and my wife and I, when we go to the chiropractor together, on the way back we'd stop at this restaurant. Well, they closed for about a year and a half. The owner got sick, and they wound up selling it, and now it's open under new management and stuff. And I still like going there. It's convenient. So every other Thursday night I go to this place. And because I'm by myself, I go to the bar. I sit at the bar. I can watch the Phillies game uh, and have a couple beers and eat some dinner. So it's something I look forward to. It's twice a month, not a big deal. Uh, so the bartenders there, who probably out of the last 4 times, she's been my bartenders twice because they usually have 2 or 3 working the bar. She has both times given me a free beer. And the first time I pointed it out to her, I said, you forgot to charge me for that second beer. And she looked at me and I think she said, so? And walked away. It was something like that. So I thought, oh, okay. So of course I tip her well. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's this thing where she thinks, well, if I give him free beer, he'll give me more money or something. I don't know. But anyway, I pay for the beer and the tip. So it all works out from my perspective and from her perspective, not from the owner's perspective, but he's making a bundle on the beer anyway. So, hey, Ian, that's a good way to do it. That's another way that you can get free beer, I guess. Uh, no, Tim, I don't want to be Kevin Costner. He dances with wolves. Let's see. You think I need a full beard and a toupee? Oh, to be Sean Connery. Yes, Big Dave, yes. Self-deprecating sense of humor. Prefer to remain anomalous. You got the best lines, Phil. Phil, it might be that. It might just be the tip that's paying for the beer. That's fine. I don't care. It's fun. She's nice, and she talks to me. It's busy. It's not like she sits there and talks to me for an hour or anything. But when she sees me come in, she says hello and stuff. It's nice. And I tell my wife this story, and she says, "Oh, I better get back there soon." Yeah, I'm gonna leave you for 20-year-old bartenders. Um, my 20-year-old bartenders is going to take me, you know. Anyway, so last night, the reason I'm telling this story has more to do with me ordering the beer because I didn't know until I got the check that she had only charged me for I had three actually. I was watching the Phillies game, so I was there for a while. Um, so I was drinking. Oh, that's the other weird thing. I started drinking this. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's a Victory IPA that tastes like how did I put it? A grapefruit got together with a Christmas tree, something like that. And it does taste like that, but it's one of these things where sometimes you drink stuff that or you'll eat like black licorice. Nobody really likes black licorice, but I really like to eat black licorice. It's one of those kind of things. It's this flavor that I've just sort of started to crave for some reason. And I'm not an IPA guy, but there's something about this, and it goes really well with the burger and stuff. Anyway, that's what I've been drinking at this place, and it's made by Victory. So she asked me if I want another. I say yes. She turns and goes to the beer thingy, which is on the other end of the bar. So there's about I'm on it's a rectangular bar, and I'm on the short end of the rectangle, short side of the rectangle. There's about 8 or 10 bar stools going this way, and she's all the way at the other end of this. And somebody stops her and talks to her and stuff. And by the time she gets to the thing, she starts to look around. She's forgotten what my order was, and I can see this. And she turns and looks at me, and she's about to shout. And realizing what's going on, I did this without thinking. Now, what does this mean to a 20-year-old? I know what it means to me. I know what it probably means to some of you guys. Doug, Michael, Phil, you'll all probably get it. Maybe quite a few others, but Gary, what does that mean? Narrow dimension? No. No, Doug, it doesn't mean peace. Thank you, Tim. Yes, it's V for victory, right? Victory, not peace. Or maybe it means two. Or maybe it means peace. And she saw me do this and immediately turned, grabbed the victory thing and pulled it. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I'm underestimating young people, but I didn't think many of them would think that that was for victory. I thought most of them would think it was peace or two. So anyway, that's my bartender story from last night. Hope you enjoyed that. It means doo-doo. Where'd you get that from, Lord Hogarth? Oh, number two. That was a little joke bomb. Took a minute to go off. Oh no, Phil, no. 2 pieces of beer, please. Churchill did use it a lot, yeah. Really, Doug? So it no, couch it does not mean that. So it's different if you do it this way or this way? I think this way in England means something very different. I think this way in England probably just got us another smack from YouTube. Oh, that's cute, Lord Hogarth. Crafty piping, cleaning the fish tanks and smoking some 3P. Hey, gotta clean the fish tanks. Tim, I don't know what that means. Yeah, Piper said he did, but he used both hands. It's sign language for V. Interesting, XJ. So maybe she knows sign language too. That might explain it. It is indeed Wes. That's what it exactly like. Ah, that's interesting, Phil. Had to do with archers being threatened with their bow fingers being cut off. Huh. Putting the two together means something completely different. It does. It does indeed, Big Dave. Oh, is thumbs up bad in Russia, Rich? I did not know that. I accidentally used it once in Italy, and the person laughed at me and said, "You must be American." Ward Z31, or is it Ward's 31? Enjoying 10 to midnight in a cob. Well, welcome. Good to see you. Deuces. Gotcha, Tim. Gotcha. I think it's spelled with a C. Oh no, I don't know. Also means goodbye? Ah, I'm not down with the sign language. I just was impressed that that worked. That's the thing, Doug. It's that old view of the world. The other way means up your bum, according to Ghost Cobb. I I'm glad I did it the way I did it. Stick it where the sun don't shine. Isn't that autocorrect helpful, Tim? Fireman Piper. Is that Cody? Native American hunting sign language. My goodness, Pepe, you're doing a deep dive now. Hunting two deer. Wow. I did not think we'd be talking about Native American hunting sign language. There's things you learn on this channel. YouTube should be called, considering this educational. Yeah. Okay, Words 31. Sorry, I had you confused with. Or I remember Fireman Piper. I'm just trying to remember. Don't worry about it. I'm glad to see you. I hope you're enjoying the stem. Yardism, yes, we are unnecessary expenses. I know. Tim's got his driving finger all briared up. How you doing, John? Doing fine, John. Doing fine. So here's a question. As long as we're going through like the history of symbols and such, um, the driving finger that Tim was referring to. Um, why does that get called flipping a bird? I have no idea. I've heard that many times. In fact, I think that's what I learned that was called when I first learned what it meant. Why a bird? Maybe I don't want to know. Hey, got to get those errands done, John. Tim, that seems vaguely familiar to me. I haven't seen the show in so long. Flipping a bird was a karate move. Ah, Doug. The one in the middle like their feet. Oh, because birds only have the three toes? Do birds only have three toes? I'm thinking of a duck. Seems like a duck would just have three toes out there, but I don't know. Birds have long been associated with taunting. That's interesting. Birds are so has anyone ever associated a bird with taunting? I mean, maybe it was a 60s thing, like Tim said, but I've never thought of a bird as being a particular symbol of taunting. Would some woodpeckers have four toes? Because I have four-toed woodpeckers in my yard. That's a good point, Rich. But I don't know if the fourth toe is the one going back, because they have some number of toes in the front, and then there's one in the back that kind of lets them grip. Eagles fans do like to taunt, Wes. Maybe that's the key there. Depends on the size of the bird. Oh, Pepe, you outdid Tim with the earworm there. That's a tough one to get rid of. That's great, Tim. I don't remember that. Flip him the magpie. I have seen some interesting videos about crows. I've seen them like follow cats and things like that. Crows are incredibly smart birds. Silky chickens have five toes. Wow. That surprises me, actually. It seems like they have two rear facing and three front. Really, Wes, I'm surprised we let you live. Just kidding. How many toes do camels have? Asked Big Dave. I believe three. I didn't know there was this much variety in the bird world of toes. So XJ is saying parrots have four, two forward, two backward. Yeah, ravens. I think they're all corvids. Ravens, magpies, and crows. I think it's corvid, and they're quite intelligent birds. The Smooth Piper. Good evening, Peter. Good to see you. Tim likes black crows, but they're too hot to handle now. I'm guessing there's a song in there, Tim, that I don't know. But you'll probably send to me later, and I'll just like. Okay, so the silkies have two back toes. Interesting. And there's two-toed sloths, Rich? I knew there were three-toed sloths. Big Dave, that's cruel to crows. Don't do that. John Brett, crows never forget someone who is nice or mean to them. Yes, they have a remarkable memory. They've even been known to bring gifts to people, which I find fascinating. So if you feed them, they'll like leave little shiny things for you. Mushroom Leg has got some H&H Latakia in his 4-dot pot. Another member of the 4-dot club. Sheep, goats, deers, camels, and cattle have two toes. So you don't count the thing in the back? Because I know there's just the single separation on them, but I thought that there was a third one in the back. Corvus corax, whatever the ravens are. Nice sounding name. Oh, here we go. Captain, according to Cora, the bird began in 1860 with the phrase, give the big bird, referring to a goose. And in those days, audiences would hiss a performer they didn't like, and then it became a hand gesture. Interesting. Thank you, Captain. Dead crow on a bike ride. That is unfortunate, Couch. I think I might be finishing up my bowl of haunted bookshop here. I think Big Bird from Sesame Street would make an excellent tattoo, my friend. But leave room for his invisible friend Snuffleupagus. But don't actually get the tattoo of Snuffleupagus. Just leave the room. Yeah. Paragon Piper, how you doing? And Terry Davy. LJ Peretti slices at a Stanwell Pipe of the Year. Very nice, Terry. Of which the pursuit of dishonor is indicated. I like that, Phil. All briared up, that just hurts my head to even think about. Rich B1 saying the goofy woke dude on ABC News really doesn't narrow it down. You think it's a joke, Doug? So you do think there's a third one in the back? George Snuffleupagus. Gotcha, Rich. That's interesting, Chris. So did he become non-invisible? I mean, what I remember is whenever he was with Big Bird alone, you could see him, but then he would disappear when other people would show up. Dew claws are an odd thing, XJ. I never quite understood why dogs have them. They just dangle there, and sometimes they have to have them removed. I had a dog that had to have the dew claws removed because it was getting the, the the what do they call it? Are they called nails on dogs? I can't think right now. But it would curl around, looked almost like a nautilus shell, and it would start to get infected. We thought she was a toad. Oh, that is a great scene, Doug. That's a great movie. Really, Chris? Well, that's just kind of silly, isn't it? But I guess you got to do what you got to do. He eventually appeared to all of Sesame Street. The Snuffleupagus came out of the. Well, never mind. Ron Hardcrackers, hello, sir. Okay, Doug. And if that's a security blanket, I'd hate to see it not being present because it didn't help very much, did it? Oh, Rich, that's a long way to go for a joke, Mountain Dew claws. My goodness. Papa Bear, how you doing, my friend? Phil, my memory is so short right now, I don't know what it was that I did that was bad. I apologize. They're vestigial. That makes sense, Michael. You know, if Bigfoot and Snuffleupagus from the 70s were to play hide and seek, that would be quite a game, Tim. Blanket core? Not familiar with that mushroom lake. That makes sense, Brian. Um, and I don't even think there's a there's a bone joint in them. They just seem to be hanging there. They have a little bone, but they don't seem to be connected. They're probably connected with ligaments or something. Oh, the dew reference. That wasn't me. That wasn't. I was just reading that though. I'm looking forward to being unburdened by the retching, Doug. Oh, you like that Takshin, Terry? Takashin? Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better, Ron. You're having a pipe. Peterson Royal Yacht as a birthday gift. Nice. And a Shiner Oktoberfest. Very cool. Gotcha, XJ. Just cartilage. That makes sense. Thank you, Phil. You know, Flint Hill, it seems like there should have been something other than that trash can down there. But yeah, kind of small for him. Plus, where did people put the trash? And why, when he came up, didn't trash fall out? A lot of unanswered questions regarding Sesame Street. Tim, I sometimes wonder if they've just gone extinct. That's one way to look at it, Lord Hogarth. Home! We've moved well beyond the toe conversation. We're now on to Duke laws. Probably not much better, but are we trash talking? I'm not going to trash talk with you, Phil. No, 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 no. I have finished my haunted bookshelf. We're going to set that down and we'll wait a few minutes before we have the big event. The big event. It's the biggest live stream of the month. Was that the Alligator King Paragon Piper with the 7 sons? I got the rest of the can in now. Got a lot to drink here. Big Dave, it's one of the greatest mysteries of all time why they didn't get off that island. And since you brought it up, I saw something recently that I wanted to mention to you in particular. Sailor, hello, in town for the weekend. I'm glad you could drop in, buddy. Good to see you. So someone did an analysis. They actually figured out what boat they were on, and you know they had the model and everything, and what its top speed was, and how far it could go in 3 hours, and it was like 40 miles. So they really weren't very far away. Yes, I remember. I was not a child anymore, but I do remember Mr. Hooper dying. That was a big deal. The count was pretty cool, Tim. My brother had a real thing for Sesame Street growing up. I've told you about him with the autism and all, and he really like fixated on Sesame Street and the characters. He had a stuffed Cookie Monster that he took everywhere with him, and if he didn't have that, it was bad. You're the seventh son of a seventh son. Well, that would explain a lot, Tim. Oh, I didn't never realize there was a difference between the front and the rear, XJ. That's interesting. Talking trash in the big event. There you go, Phil. If you're going to tune into one live stream a month, you want to tune into the last one of the month, which is always going to have trash talking in the big event. King Gosh Posh. Don't remember that, Paragon. Sorry to hear that, Doug. You know, I gotta just gloat for a minute, Doug. I feel like I was supposed to say something. Like supposed to. Oh, I told Big Dave to go against Iowa with me. Um, I realized last night. I knew the Phillies were doing really well, but I didn't realize they actually have the best record in baseball in the end of August. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. I'm flabbergasted. I still think they can screw it up. Don't get me wrong. Really? So somebody actually has the SS Minnow. That's pretty cool, Phil. Oh, Wes, thank you so much for the subscription. And yeah, you're welcome every Friday. That's this is what we do. And there's a lot of YouTube channels. I mean, I do a Sunday video, and a lot of the guys here do videos where you can just sit down and have a pipe and watch. It's like you're smoking a pipe with someone, and it's a great thing for guys like me that don't have any local pipe smoking friends. Well, I technically have one, but we're both busy and don't get to see one another very often. Dinosaurs and Batman. Yeah, it's a good combination, Mushroom Lip. You loved Grover Paragon? My goodness. I'm sorry, I thought Grover was annoying. Oh, I remember King Friday from I love Mr. Rogers, yeah. 3 Hour Tour reminds me of a story in Twain's Roughing It book. Thought he was lost in a midnight snowstorm when he was actually 50 yards from Scammon. Yeah. I hope they do, Doug, but the playoffs strange things can happen in the playoffs, and we're not there yet. The White Sox are exceptional indeed, Rich. Ah, thank you, Phil. Thank you. We should do those again. It'd be fun to chat with some of you one on one like that again on the live stream. I mean, I know we can chat anytime, but I've been thinking if I ever get around to, I went through this whole thing where I rebuilt my wife's computer and it's working great, and I installed Linux on it and everything's fantastic, and then I did nothing with it. Eventually, that's going to replace the computer I'm using, and with the newer versions of Linux, I think I can directly pipe the things like Zoom directly into the stream, whereas before I had to do it through an external cable. So we might be able to get some of that stuff done in the near future. We missed you, Everett. Glad you're back. The near and far bit was funny, Rich. Yeah. You were nervous, Phil? Ah, you did great. It was fun. I was always nervous in those things because I was like, well, what if we start talking and I got nothing to, just dead air. It was always a little stressful starting off one of those live streams. That could explain it, Lord Hogan. The only sucks there is red. Okay, Tim. Okay. Big Dave, I think they've got other plans for this weekend. So should we do it? Should we do what you all tuned in for? I got a nice selection for this month, and they're all jars. So that's something. Um, and one of them is actually, I'm fairly certain, a gift from my friend Tony in Rhode Island. I think. So Tony, if you're still on, you can let me know whether or not that's true. So shall we go through the tobaccos of the month? I'm not going to wait for you to answer because I'm going to do it anyway. Don't bother saying yes. All right, Patrick said go for it. Okay. So we got three choices here, and they're all aged, and they're all not things I usually smoke on you know, one of them is something I smoke often enough, but not every day. Okay, so first one. We'll call this number one. Don't vote until it's over, Gary. Don't vote until I finish all three. Number one. I can't read my own writing. This is some Peter Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake from May of 2015. I doubt very much you'll be able to read that, but there you can see how beautifully dark that stuff has gotten. So Peter Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake, 9 years old. That's number one. Number two, Cornell and Deal Old Joe Krantz, but wait, from January of 2015, so very nearly 10 years old. So one is Luxury Bullseye Flake, two is Old Joe Krantz, and number three, this is the one that I believe Tony gave to me, but I have not smoked in quite a while. Esoterica Dunbar, Virginia Perique. And I do not know how old this is, but I think I've had it at least 4 years, and I'm sure it had a couple years on it when I got it. So Esoterica Dunbar is number three. Old Joe Krantz is number two. Luxury Bullseye Flake is number one. So let the voting begin. And if you've already voted, please vote again, because I didn't. Okay, we got a number three. You know, I should actually write these down, just to be fair. And they'll start scrolling up in front of the pencil. Okay, we got a three. So 1, 2, 3 for Old Joe, which was number two. We got a one. We got a two, another one, another three. Old Joe Krantz, a bullseye. Oh, wait. Going too fast. Old Joe Krantz, bullseye, number two, number three, number three, number two, number two, number three, Dunbar, three. Couple more threes. Couple more threes. 1, 3, 2. Thank you, Doug. I will love it. 2. It's losing right now. Tim, did you vote already? And Big Dave is voting for FK Jr. So with that, we will call it to a close. So let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 for number one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for number two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, that's not very good. Steve, I'll count your number two, but it still brings it only up to 11. So it looks like number three has won the evening with 13. Lucky. Out of curiosity, that was 11, 13, so that's 24. Got 28 votes. 28 people care about what I'm smoking this month. My goodness. So we will put away the Old Joe Krantz and the Luxury Bullseye Flake, and we will try the Esoterica Dunbar Virginia Perique, which I have had it before. It's quite good, so I'm happy about that, although I have to admit I was really hoping that Old Joe Krantz would pull through. No, Doug, I've had Bullseye Flake many times. I like it. Last week's was just... I don't think... I know you said that they were trying to rip off Bullseye Flake, but I don't think they were. I think they were trying to recreate Three Nuns, because it's much closer to that. But it's still not good. And it was interesting. The impressions video I did of that on Sunday got really really interesting comments because there was a group of people that absolutely agreed with what I said, and there was a group of people that just said, "You're crazy. It's the best tobacco ever." So I like that. Be prepared to be extremely bored to the point of falling asleep mid-bowl. I love you, Doug. Big Dave, almost certainly not. Wes B28 wants to know what old Joe Krantz is like. It's interesting, Wes. I mean, I don't know if you, since you're new, I don't know if you tried Haunted Bookshop. Old Joe Krantz is Haunted Bookshop with extra red Virginia, yet people swear it's stronger than Haunted Bookshop and claim it has more perique and whatnot. But to me, it's like a sweeter, smoother version of Haunted Bookshop. By the way, you know how to do this? You use your hand to make a little thing, and then you. I call that the funnel method. I'm gonna make a video on it and maybe get 60,000 subscribers. Yes, Mikey's in the mood. Alrighty, here we go. Yes, the Stokkebye is unsweetened Cavendish. You're right about that, Rich. You find old Joe to be bitter, Paragon. That's interesting. But you're one of those people that liked the Newminster, aren't you? It smells like old socks, and that's why we like it, Gary. Oh, I like a funneled rim, Phil. Very nice. It's looking beautiful. Phil's making me a pipe, and I've been watching it on Instagram, and it's just going to be fantastic. Oh, Joita, how you doing, buddy? Popping up to agree with Paragon? Well, I won't hold that against you. I'm just kidding, Paragon. You lost my feed, Big Dave. Do you have it back? Time does fly, Patrick. You use the funnel method too, John? Well, make sure you put the little copyright symbol next to it, because I'm gonna talk to my lawyers tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Brian Dawkins, good evening. What's up? Well, so far we've talked about animal toes, and that's about it. Oh, we had bartenders as stories. There you go. Ron's loading up some old Joe Krantz too, with a last pipe of the year by Mark Tinsky. Nice. I tried to look into that, Doug. Rathbone did a couple of commercials for a tobacco that I don't remember, but of course that doesn't really mean anything. But I could never find information on what Rathbone smoked. And Nigel Bruce, I didn't try. I'm assuming that's going to be even harder. Oh, Tim, that's going to stick. Ba 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 ba. I think that's the closest I've ever come to singing on a live stream. That's interesting. Same here, Michael. Same here, but a value brand for sure. Oh, nice that you. Oh, profane hand gestures. Yes, thank you, Rich B1. Nice that you got a restoration done, Pepe. Hope it smokes well for you. Oh, big and burly, Everett. Come on. There was a lot of big and burly at the pipe show, Everett. You would have enjoyed that. Tim, is it still the same bowl of I Hate Rodrigo Dell? If we ever get in the same slow smoke competition, I'm just gonna leave. Yes, Phil, that's one that gets stuck in my head a lot too. If you're a Family Guy fan and you haven't seen the episode where Peter Griffin buys a copy of The Bird is the Word, it's hilarious. All right, Pepe, thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a great one. It was good to see you, my friend. If you were left to smoke what Sherlock left you, you wouldn't be smoking very much, Phil. Oh, Everett, I'm so sorry to hear that, buddy. It wasn't my fault. Oh, that's cool, Rich. You're right, Tim. I don't think Joey's saying much better than that. Big and Burly is Sun Bear Light? Huh. So does Sun Bear have a lot of Kia mushroom like? Oh, Phil. Really, XJ? Maybe the bird is the word. I'm not gonna do a dance, Tim. But it's hilarious. That is bad theology, Michael. Okay, Sun Bear has Orientals. I see. Okay, Tim, let me ask a question. Does anybody really like pina coladas? Pina coladas? I mean, honestly, I've had them. They're okay. They're kind of fruity and coconutty, but does anybody actually like, you know, sit up and say, gee, you know what I want right now? And then who actually likes getting caught in the rain? Sounds like a terrible day to me. I had to drink a pina colada and then I got soaking wet. Big and Burly is C and D as well, Doug. Sha-na-na. My goodness, Ron. You like pina coladas, Tim? Okay. I mean, rum's okay, but it's just a little too fruity and sweet for me. Okay, a lot of pina colada defenders coming out here. Wes says they're too sugary. Patrick likes them. Well, can drink one or two. I'm glad you got out of there fast, XJ. That's not something you want to do. Maybe that's it, Lord Hogarth. Maybe the song makes me dislike him. Mushroom like Mushroom Leg likes making love at 11:59. That's funny, Mushroom Leg. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Doug. And I do not make my gin and tonics very dilute at all. Sort of like a 50-50 mix, really. Of course, I do put ice in it, so by the time I finish it, it's been quite diluted. Flint, who wants to get caught in a hurricane? That's funny, Paragon. Never tried Speakeasy ever. I've seen that come up a couple times now. Brian likes the gimlet. That's that's the that's a martini with an onion in it, Brian. Am I remembering that right? Okay, Tim. So you're just not a gin vodka guy. Well, I can see how. You do you like whiskeys? You know, whiskeys and scotches? Because I could see how rum would be quite different from gin and vodka. You like the darker spirits then? I don't know what they put in them, Michael. I think it's coconut, but maybe there's pine. I have no idea. Maybe that's what it's about, Doug. Maybe it's the fact that love makes you blind to such things. Manhattan martinis or gins and tonics, says Flint Hill. Yeah, I don't drink anything that I don't know how to make. I have no idea what's in a Manhattan. I'm not being snobby about that. I'm not going to order something if I don't know what's in it. And yeah. Oh, a Gibson is the well. What's a gimlet then? A Gibson is the martini with the onion. Okay, not Scotch, but love bourbon and whiskey. Interesting, Tim. Oh, gimlets have roses lime juice added, says Doug. Very sweet. Okay. Gin and tonics are dangerous, Ron. They are very easy to drink. Yeah, Flint Hill, you've mentioned the Vesper Martini before. That's another one that I'd like to try, but it's just too complicated. Paragon, that is my favorite martini right there. You just described I had one just a few weeks ago on the live stream. The blue cheese olive, straight gin, no I don't even know what that stuff's called now. Vermouth. Uh, I used to joke. I had a bottle of vermouth and I would just click the glass against it because yeah, that's a good martini and dirty. Oh, Everett, sorry I didn't even think to ask, but I'm glad your dad is doing well. Waiting for a neurosurgeon. Wow, for the back. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad he's doing well, Everett. And we'll keep you and him in our prayers, my friend. Oh, XJ, that sounds like a terrifying cocktail. That's a great line, Tim. That is a great line. Oh, Doug, that sounds like a wonderful evening right there. Yes, Michael, love is blind, but it doesn't have to make you deaf, dumb, and stupid. Excellent point, my friend. Tom Collins. That's boy, I haven't thought of a Tom Collins in a long time, Paragon Piper. When I was a little kid, uh, they used to sell in the grocery store these little cans of drink mixes. Um, I don't know how to describe them. They were just these little cans, and they had a foil pull top on them. So you pulled off a piece of foil, and that revealed the spout that you pour the stuff out. And one of them was a Tom Collins mix that I guess you'd put whatever liquor you put in a Tom Collins, you'd add that and ice, and you'd be ready to go. So these were popular. My grandparents would have them like if they were having a party, or I particularly remember my aunt and uncle, my mom's brother and sister, got married when I was probably in like first grade, and they'd have like a rehearsal dinner party at my grandparents' house, and there were these little Tom Collins things, and I was always happy because I got to drink them, and without the alcohol. And then I think I was drunk and stuff. Yeah, I've got fond memories of Tom Collins. I don't remember what it tasted like. I think that involved the maraschino cherry too. Tim, I don't know what it is about Yellowstone, but I just can't watch it. I've never seen a millisecond of it. It just doesn't sound interesting to me. But that line makes me curious. That's a great line. Rich be one that is absolutely disgusting. Uh-oh, Isabel just realized she's alone. Well, Thatcher's there, but Thatcher goes behind the recliner and hides. Excuse me for one moment. Isabel, be a good girl. Go lay down. Go lay down. Be good. She doesn't need to go out. I let her out right before the show, so we'll just have a little bit of barking. Oh, they still sell those, Lord Hogarth. That's cool. I haven't seen those little cans in, gosh, 40 some years. So Tom Collins is gin, lemon juice, sugar, and water. So the only thing in those Tom Collins cans was basically lemonade. Huh. That is unfortunate, Brian. But yeah, there's other things to enjoy in life for sure. Give 1883 a shot and then see what you think of Yellowstone. It's a prequel. Is it a series, Chris, or is it just one? Because I wouldn't mind watching a movie, but I don't want to get caught up in a series. Welsh Piper, hey, thanks for listening, buddy. You have a great weekend too. Great to see you. That's a good one, Michael. And it has to be an ancient Roman for the joke to work. That's funny. There are very few bourbons I think should go into a mixed drink, Doug. Martinez, of course, Michael. It's a series? Okay. A mini series. Uh, well, if I finish, I got a couple things I'm watching right now, so if I finish, maybe I'll give it a shot. Because a lot of people, and I know Tim's brought it up several times, and Yellowstone's on its fifth season. My goodness. Um, I'm watching, so I've got one episode left of Judge D Mysteries, which was fantastic, and I'm actually avoiding watching the last episode. That's how good it is, because I don't want to not have another episode to watch. Um, so I got to finish that. And also, a new season of Cleo came out. I don't know if we ever talked about Cleo. It's Cleo with a K. It's a really good series. I believe it's German made, and it's about uh, an East German Stasi agent who was basically double crossed by her own people and imprisoned, and then the Berlin Wall came down, and as part of the reunification, she was released from prison, and she's now trying to figure out why they did what they did to her, and it's really a fantastic. Uh, Mark, everyone is saying hi. Was that good, Mark? Was that what you needed? I don't know. I don't know who we're saying hi to. We're saying hi to Mark. Hello, Mark. It's good to see you. Everybody say hi to Mark. So you haven't seen Cleo? I really highly recommend it. It's on Netflix, and it's just a fantastic show. Um, Foul language, a little bit of adult content. So if you're not into that sort of thing, but really well made. So I'm going to finish that. I'll watch the last episode of Judge D, and then I'll have an empty slate, and I'll give 18, 1883, was it? I'll give that a shot. They got a Hank Jr. looking dude asking people if they want to go to the train station. See, that doesn't make me want to watch it, Rich. I don't know if it's on DVD, Doug. I'm seeing it on Netflix, but I don't know if you can get it on DVD. You might be able to. I also don't know if they're making another season. They can't possibly tie everything up that's going on right now in one episode, so I hope they do. But a show called Your Honor? Not familiar with that, Rich. Train station is a one-way ticket. Oh, okay. So the Hank Jr. looking dude is knocking people off. In case you're wondering, the Dunbar is sweet and perky. Somehow I don't think so, Rich. No, not that Cleo, Michael. I wonder whatever happened to Miss Cleo. Warhorse Red and an Echo Domani Pinot. Interesting, sailor. I would not have put those together, but sometimes you get surprised. We have a lot of wine. We have one of those wine refrigerator things that keeps half of it keeps at the right temperature for white and half of it keeps at the right temperature for red. Because for a while, my wife and I were really enjoying it, but she's now been diagnosed with diabetes, and there's a lot of sugar in the wine, so she can't drink it. So while she's gone, I'm trying to finish off as much as I can. How much is left in my drink? That much. Sorry, Tim. I'm trying to keep up. Oh, God, I'm at time. I'm sorry. Let me tell this story and then I'll finish up. So, why was I talking about wine? Oh, because Echo Domani. Yeah, anyway, I've been drinking. Obviously, I can't kill a bottle of wine by myself for dinner. So, usually I'll have it for 2 nights and then there's usually a glass left or something. And so I've been occasionally having some wine with a pipe in the evening, and it does work well. There's some that won't, like a Chardonnay probably isn't going to do it, but a good uh, a good Pinot or a Cabernet works pretty well with a pipe. Rich, I'm not going to read that out loud. Oh, Westby 28. That's unfortunate. Yes, Doug, it is a modern series. It's actually made in China, which is quite interesting. So it is produced in China and really well done. It is in Chinese with subtitles. There might be an English dub version, but I usually just watch foreign things with the subtitles. I'm telling you, Chris, it's not easy being me. That 70s show, that was funny, Tim. There was some funny stuff in that. Never had a thing for Zinfandels, Flano. I mean, I've had some bad ones, I think. Uh, they were really popular for a while, and it was like the cheap box wine kind of Zinfandels, and I just never liked them. Uh, but I've heard there are some really good ones, and maybe I should. Well, I got enough wine to drink. I don't need to do that. Yes, Italians would soak the parodies in red wine. Yep. Oh, it's fine, Rich. It made me laugh. Danny kind of ruined that 70s show now that I know what a scumbag he is. I don't know what that's referring to, Mushroom Leg, but a lot of scumbags in Hollywood, so. Oh, yes, Holmes had a thing for claret, didn't he, Michael? Yes. Nothing against Merlots, Brian. I translated, Michael. It's not a problem. Anyway, folks, we have once again run over. My apologies. I hope you forgive me. But we can call this to an end. So thank you for joining me. I really needed this week, and it was great to spend time with you and chat about. I don't even want to think about what we talked about. It was a strange one, but it was fun. Thanks for picking the tobacco. It's good stuff. I'm going to enjoy this week. And some Sunday during the month, I'll give you my in-depth impressions. But for now, I'm going to finish up the Miller High Life and call it a night. So thank you all for joining me. I hope I'll see you again next week. And I'll be back on Sunday with something or the other. And until then, you'll take care. Good night, folks.